If you're looking for a podcast that packs in sound property advice, as well as offering you an insight into making the world of property effective and ultimately work for you, you're in the right place. Hosted by Arsh, the original property rebel. He's written an Amazon bestseller, created the Property Investor app, the UK's first, and is an experienced property mentor. More importantly, he talks the talk and walks the walk.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Property Rebel with your host Arsh. And in this session we're going to be talking about a couple of things, actually, a bit of diversity. We're going to be talking about how life is a marathon, not a sprint, and how we can relate that to business. I'm also joined by a special guest, an estate agent. You know how hard it is to get an estate agent onto a podcast? Really hard. And I'm also joined by another triathlete, if that's what we can call him. So before we get on to that, I want to say a quick hello to all listeners, all around the world. Thank you for your support. As ever, thank you for all your comments. Keep spurring me on to do another episode. As we record this, we're in sunny Devon because we've just completed the Devon Triathlon. It's a mini triathlon. We say that it was a 750 metre open water swim, followed by a 12-mile bike ride, followed by a 3-mile run. So it was a mini triathlon, but to say the least, it was still quite challenging. Right. So, going to tackle a couple of things. Let's first of all talk about the elephant in the room. The first one being about COVID. As of today, when you're listening to this podcast, you would have just heard some news from the government that they're planning to extend the deadline. So everyone was gearing up for the 21st of June to come out and restrictions were to be lifted. And as a result of that, everyone, the business, the economy was looking forward to get moving again. Now, what's this deadline going to do to a lot of businesses? What's this extension going to do to a lot of businesses? The hospitality industry in particular, they've been geared up to almost get trading again from the 21st of June. Is this now going to be the final nail in the coffin? Now, I've been talking about this for quite a while, and it does make me sound quite negative, but I do really feel for these businesses. Luckily, the property industry hasn't really been hit that hard by COVID-19, and I'm very fortunate to have a young lady called Becky, who's an estate agent based in the West Midlands, and Becky's going to tell us just a little bit about her experience of property sales throughout lockdown. So welcome to the podcast, Becky. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
This is a bit of a surprise. I appreciate that, Becky. I haven't really given much of a briefing or what we're going to talk about. And the reason why I don't do that is because it gives you too much time to think about it. And I want you to give your, almost like your real life experience as to what's gone on during this period. So what kind of properties do you sell?
We sell properties ranging from probably about 100,000 all the way up to £1 million.
And what's really interesting about you is that you had a corporate background as well. So you worked for one of the large corporates, is that correct?
I did, yes.
How was that?
That was probably a little bit more challenging working for a corporate. But now going to a family-run business, it's a lot more relaxed.
When you say relaxed, isn't there a lot more pressure? Because with a corporate, you had almost like an umbrella to hide behind, whereas with a family-related one, if you don't generate sales, that instantly impacts their business.
I think a lot of the corporate side of estate agency is very pressurised and very target driven for the individuals, whereas a family-run business is very more relaxed.
Okay, so in terms of the corporate side, believe it or not, that sound that you're going to hear in the background, this is really real, guys. And as you know, with the Property Rebel podcast, it is very much a one-take edit. So we've got Becky's partner in the background having a shower, and we are here in Devon. We're in a little Airbnb. We're all together with all the triathletes. So please don't worry about the noise. Let's concentrate on Becky, because you know how rare it is to try and get an estate agent on a podcast. So going back to your question. So you work for a large national.
Yeah.
So can you tell us any of the secrets that go on behind the scenes? So if I was an investor, what's your general perception of an investor? So how many investors called you on a day-to-day basis, and what was the general spiel? Were they all saying, oh, we're a cash buyer, we're looking for a tatty house, we can complete quickly, we can sell, we can complete within 7 days, this, that and the other?
Yeah, we on a daily basis we used to get calls from investors, and we had numerous investors that would call us and tell us that they'd be cash buyers, they can complete it in 28 days, even sooner.
And what was your thoughts when someone called? Tell you what, Beck, we'll move. Keep walking with me.
Oh.
We're walking. We'll just go and sit on the steps here. Bloody Dean. So there we go. So take a seat. So here we are. We're in a bit more of a confined. Take a seat, Beck. So when someone called,
Yeah.
how did that? What did you guys used to think? Did you just used to think, oh bloody heck, another one?
Yes.
Really?
Being honest.
Okay, so another one. So how did you get did you have like a little black book of preferred buyers?
Yes.
How did you get into that book? How does someone get into that book?
I think it's building up a relationship with us, and it's trust as well. And a lot of investors would tell us that they would do this, that, and the other, and it never materialised, or they were cash buyers and they'd ended up needing a mortgage, or something else came on the market and they were going to buy that instead of the one that we'd sold them. So it's tough for an investor, I think, to get into a corporate agent.
Right, okay, that's interesting. So guys, there you have it. So there's your first golden tip. If you go to an estate agent and you say you're a cash buyer, you basically got to deliver on what you say. Would you agree?
Prove it.
So prove it. That's perfect. So if you don't prove it, generally speaking, from an estate agent's point of view, they still want to sell the property. So there's still, even if you turn around and say you're a cash buyer, but you end up buying it with a mortgage, you're not going to say, sorry, the property is no longer for you, are you? You're still going to go through it, but they fall down the pecking list. Is that right?
They do. Yeah, they do.
Okay, so what other things kind of have put you off from investors?
I think it's probably investors that phone when there's something that has come on the market that they want, and we've had no communication with them for probably 3 or 4 months. But investors that, even if we haven't got anything for them at the moment, they stay in regular contact, they pop in.
Some people say they like to come in with chocolates and stuff like that. Does that go? Does that hold any weight, or is that almost considered like a bribe?
Do you know what? I love chocolate.
So would that keep them at the forefront of your mind?
Not necessarily the forefront of my mind, but I'd think, do you know what? That's a nice gesture.
Yeah.
And even if they're popping by, they just pop their head in and say, "Got anything for me?" And if I have no problem, Beck, just phone me when you have. But then you've got some that we don't hear from them, and then all of a sudden, 6-7 weeks down the line, they phone up, "Oh, you've just put this on, Beck. We want it."
Okay.
And actually, I've probably got 2 or 3 others that I've had regular contact with.
So, okay, this is a question then. So, you've got 2 kinds of investors here. You've got the ones that are in direct contact with you constantly, or like keeping kind of contact, and then you've got the ones that probably call you once in a while when something comes on.
And want everything.
Yeah.
And actually, we're not going to give them everything.
Right, okay. So preference is the one that you stay in contact with, that you've built some rapport with.
Yeah, and some trust, yeah.
Okay, right. So that was the corporate. Talk to us about the family business now. So the family size business. So you said that you sell houses from 100 grand up to £1 million. How have you found that? Do you prefer that to the corporate?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Is this more family homes, or is this still investments as well?
More family homes.
Okay, and how do you find the difference between the different segments?
It's a lot more relaxed, it's a lot more friendly, it's not as aggressive as when you're dealing with, numerous rundown properties where you've got 10 or 12 people all after.
And that's interesting that you say rundown properties, because with the corporate, is there a pressure to take on loads of properties, as many as you can get?
Yeah.
Whereas from the family side, you're looking for a targeted kind of, almost like a property that you're going to be able to sell.
Yeah, and we can pick and choose more.
Okay, that's interesting. What do you do to the ones that you don't? I'm just asking you random questions from my train of thought now. So the ones that you go to and you think, you pick and choose and you say no to that, what happens to those?
They'll probably go on with another agent.
Would you not then try and see if an investor would try and buy those without them going onto your book? And still kind of generate a fee from it?
Yeah, but from the very, very start, if a vendor is expecting too much money and it's just going to be stock that's sat there that we can't sell, then why would we want it?
Yeah, no, to be fair.
And vendors are very high maintenance, and from the corporate side of it, we have to keep our employer happy, and we have to keep our vendors happy, and we've got to keep our buyers happy.
Yeah, it's a tough role. You're spinning a lot of plates there, because if you don't keep the vendor happy, they go elsewhere. elsewhere. They don't keep the buyer happy. They go and look for other stock, and then in the meanwhile, you're trying to maintain the relationship so that you can generate that fee. Completely get that. So let's talk about COVID. Let's talk about what's happened over the last 12 months. How's it affected sales? Stamp duty holiday, furlough.
Yeah.
So have you guys been open throughout?
We were shut for 3 months during the first lockdown. We couldn't operate at all. And then when we did go back and we were allowed to reopen and viewings were allowed to take place, we actually thought it was going to be quiet. Who would want to go into somebody's property?
Yep.
Who would want us going in their property? But actually it's been completely the opposite, and I've never known it so busy.
Really? So phones ringing off the hook. Are these people looking to move from house to house, or are these also investors as well, or both?
A mixture really. Probably not so much investors, if I'm honest, at the moment.
Yeah.
It's more people that want to go more rural. They want to get an extra bedroom because they're now working from home.
Okay.
They want a bigger garden because they've spent so much time in the garden. Now they realise it is important and they want more space. Yeah, it's been really busy, and with the stamp duty as well, that's just...
Has that been a massive help?
It has been a massive help, but also it's created a lot of pressure for estate agents and solicitors.
Is that to meet the deadline?
To meet the deadline, yeah.
Do you worry that the deadline's coming up? And have you asked the question that if you go over the deadline, are you going to have the funds to still carry on the transaction?
Yeah, absolutely. And we ask for proof to be provided that they can do that.
So you're looking at the longer game, because we don't know how long a transaction is going to take,
Okay.
and then you're worried that if they go over and then they can say, well, hang on, I've got this amount of money, and then with the new stamp duty, it then takes them over, let's say, by 10, 20,000. They're worried that you haven't got the funds. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So from a business point of view, you prefer, we've talked about investors, we've talked about your love-hate relationship with investors, we've talked about stamp duty, we've talked about COVID. Now, Dean, where is he? Come here, you. Thank you so much for that, Rebecca. I don't know, am I meant to call you Rebecca, or is it Becky?
Just call me Becky.
So, Becky is married to this very lovely gentleman, or shall we call him the lovable rogue, called Dean. Good morning, Dean. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are
So,
you?
Dean, we're going to talk to you about something completely different. So, you and I both did a triathlon yesterday.
That's right.
And Dean decided to do a mini triathlon thereafter, insisting on drinking as many drinks as possible thereafter. We won't talk about that though, Dean. Let's talk about the actual triathlon, because I want to try and relate this back to business. So, triathlon, I always say to all my listeners, is that you treat everything that you do as almost like a marathon, not a sprint. You've got to be in it for the longevity.
Absolutely.
And so the triathlon yesterday, I went through my own personal barriers, mental barriers, whilst I was on the triathlon. But from your point of view, how did you find it?
It was something that I thought I had to achieve myself. Something to get through. I was so scared of certain things, mainly the swim. So it was nice to push yourself and do something and get through something that you're scared of.
So you talked yourself out of the swim many times, would you agree?
Absolutely.
Even to
Absolutely.
the day before, we were sat.
To the morning of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We were sat on the beach together, and he kept saying, I'm not sure if I can do this. I said, Dean, we've got to do this tomorrow. And so we looked at it, we kind of dissected it, looked at it and said, well, you know what, Dean, if you get past this part, you've done okay. You get to the next one, you're 2/3 of the way there, and then you've only got the last one to do.
It's a lot easier when you've got the support of good people around you. Definitely.
So yeah, okay, so that's a really good point. So if you're going through stuff and you're not exactly sure, reach out to people just to speak to them about it. Would you agree?
In every way, walks through life, everything, yeah. If you've got good people around you, things are a lot easier to get around. And we are very fortunate, not everybody is, but we are very fortunate with that. And the benefits of tackling what we got and got through what we did yesterday is just endless. It's so good.
So you were a machine on the bike. You were a machine on the bike. You flew past me on the bike. I don't mind saying that. I came out the water first. I should put that in there.
Yeah, you can have that one, yeah.
And then you flew past me on the bike. How did you feel on the bike? What was going through your head? Because 12 miles, let's face it, when we go out on a bike ride, normally on a Sunday, if I said to you, Dean, let's go out for 12 miles, we wouldn't think anything of it, would we?
Well, sometimes you wouldn't bother because it's not worth it.
Yeah. So from this now, 12 miles, race environment.
Oh, it's totally different. Yeah, it pushes you so much. But also, it was such a brutal, hilly bike route, absolutely. And the heat as well, and everything that goes together. But on a race day, the adrenaline that pushes you through, it's hard to explain, but it's a different game altogether when you're
So
racing.
did you have a game plan? I'm trying to push this back to the business side. So did you have a game plan? Or did you thought, well, let's just get out the water first?
Well, we all know our strengths, so if I was going to make any more time up, it's obviously what I'm strongest at, and I felt yesterday my strongest was the bike. So I'd give everything I could on the bike, and then whatever I had left for the run afterwards was what it was. But taking that back to day-to-day life and how you are at work and stuff, you know where you're strong, you know where you can take things on and where you can't.
Okay, that's interesting. So on the bike, for me, I found myself almost giving myself like mini segments, like mini goals. So my first goal was get out the water and let's tackle the first hill. And I gave myself, about 7.5 minutes to get up that hill.
Sections.
Yeah, so I broke it down in sections. Soon I got up to the top, I gave myself 2 minutes to recover. And then after that, I looked at the road ahead and I broke that down into almost like quarterly sections. I said, okay, and I almost like positioned the people in front of me. I thought, okay, you're there, I'm here, I now need to catch you. Did you do anything like that or not really?
Well,
maybe I was playing mind games with myself.
No, absolutely. It's like, you know where you are. So when you've gone all the way to the one end and turn around and coming back the other way, I knew I had one more hill to climb, which I knew was tough. My legs was like jelly, and I wanted to get to the top of there. And I thought, right, once I get to the top of there, I've got a downhill, a bit of a rest before I have to run. But not only that, there's a certain guy who I sort of set my sights on. If I keep him in my sights, I was going to be happy, and he was at a good pace and a pace that I could keep up with. So that pushed me as well. Chasing somebody obviously makes you push a little bit harder as well, or being chased.
So I suppose taking
which I knew you was chasing me, so that really gave me the incentive.
It does. I was chasing, and when we got almost to the turnaround point, I kind of started timing how far ahead you were.
Yeah, I could feel. I thought any time now it's just going to
and I thought, should I chase Dean? And I got through to. I suppose this is good from a mindset point of view. I said, do I start now to burn out and go and chase Dean, knowing that I still have the run to go, or do I stay in my lane, knowing that I'm still at a good place and I can still carry on? Now, when I was doing this triathlon, I was doing this for the training for the main triathlon, which is 3 weeks later, and I wanted to get my mindset into a point of pushing myself, but making sure that I've got the consistency to keep going.
It's not just about burning out on certain things. You need to be consistent through all three, and I think you played a very clever game yesterday, mainly because you have got 3 weeks time an even bigger event. So I just think you did a very good game. The run, by the way, everyone should know, was very brutal. The run was a tough 5k.
And so everyone, when I saw people, they were running really fast, and I went there with the game plan that I'm not going to run a fast run. I'm not going to run a slowish run. I didn't want to run faster than 9.5 minute mile. I didn't want to run slower than a 10-minute mile. And I sat between that perfectly. For 3 miles, it doesn't seem like a long it doesn't seem like a long distance. And
when you talk about it, no.
But when you looked at the hill and the terrain, it was actually quite a difficult course.
I found the run, which I was surprised. I expected the swim to be the worst, and the run and the bike, because we do it every week, don't we?
Yeah.
But the run was so tough, especially after the bike, how hilly the climb was. I'm just tired at that point, and also it was a very brutal course. But it just shows how headstrong everybody in the group are, because everyone got it done.
So now final thoughts then, Dean. Dean's thoughts. So relating this back to business, if you have to give people 3 top tips, or just a top tip as to how you can relate your triathlon experience to a business experience. Now you're self-employed as well. I don't mind saying. So you're a gas engineer.
That's right.
Yeah. So how would you relate this back to your business? So first of all, top tip:
prepare as best you can.
For me, it's about consistency. Don't just go out and think I'm going to just do this the once. Go out there thinking I'm playing this the long-term game. Consistent preparation. The more consistent you are, the better you become. Now, with your gas engineer business, you've been doing it such a long time now that you've built a good customer base. You worked for a company before, didn't you?
I was like my wife. I was corporate for 5 years before this.
Yeah, and then after that, you've then gone self-employed. You've built a good customer base, and as a result of being consistent with your actions for the first 5 years in the corporate, you've now gone and you've followed that base has followed you. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I've learned so much from the corporate side of things. How to prepare, as you said, to be consistent, and also how to be with your customers and your clients. That's a massive part of the business. Not just being good at the job; it's being good with people as well.
Brilliant. Is there any final words, Dean?
Well done.
Brilliant, Dean. Thank you very much, guys. Right, thank you very much to Becky. Thank you very much to Dean. It's a special podcast because, it's a bit of an emotional podcast as well. Spent some time with these guys, got to know them, not only on a, triathlete professional level, but also on a personal level. So, guys, on that note, hopefully you really enjoyed that. As always, if you want more free content, you can follow me on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube under the handle of Arsh, as well as that you can connect with me on social media under the handle of Arsh. Arsh Elahi. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter and Clubhouse. Finally, if you haven't already done so, have you downloaded the Property Investor app? It's the UK's first property investment platform which showcases all kinds of property deals all over the UK. Whether you're looking for BMV, rent to rent, service accommodation deals, they're all there. All you have to do is go to propertyinvestorapp.co.uk, or if you've got a smartphone, open the App Store and type in Property Investor. So guys, on that note, I really hope that with all the new changes, everything that's coming in, with whatever Bojo's going to announce on, when you're listening to this, whatever he has announced, I wish you all to be safe, well and happy. And I look forward to speaking to you all very soon. Thank you and bye-bye.
The large majority of people make a positive change if they take immediate action. So act now. Download the Property Investor app and join Arsh on his social media channels to excel your property journey.